Before we get into this video, disclaimer, this is all my opinion. This this is what me and my friends put up together. So if you got anything different compared to what I say, just leave in the description. We can have a nice conversation about it. What's up, guys? This is TCG Prodigy here today with what I think the top 5 decks for the beginner are. Me and my friends put this together, and this is what we think the top 5 decks are like together as well. So this is not in no specific orders, but we're gonna start off with Cyber Dragons. Cyber Dragons are very easy to understand. You can basically pick them up and basically start playing with them. At least for me, that way it was for me when I tried it. You can pick them up and just start playing with them. Easy to OTK, the OTK potential is crazy. You can play through a lot of interruptions, and you can spam the board to make your Cyber Dragon Affinity is the negate, and it can take your opponent monster that is in attack position. The only thing I feel like will get somewhat confusing sometimes is Notch and Core. Those two, I feel like those two can get confusing. A noteworthy thing, I guess, will be the contact fuse with the Cyber Dragon with your opponent monster or extra deck monster, or in the extra monster zone if I specify that correctly. So yeah, Cyber Dragon's pretty good deck. I really will recommend that to a beginner. Another one, this is pretty obvious, Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are just absurd. I play Dinosaurs. Dinosaur does it all, in my opinion, besides Control. Nah, you probably could build a trout variant or Control variant if you really tried. I could try that in the future if you guys want me to, but that can break boards. It can build boards. You can play through most hand traps just because of Miscellaneous. And Miscellaneous got a gold reprint. Look, awesome. I'm gonna get me 3 of those. The OTK potential is just ridiculous. You can break boards and just kill them. It go crazy. There literally a few, one issue I will find with that deck. The only issue I will find with Dinosaurs is that it is very repetitive. You do the same thing over and over and over and over again. After a while it get boring. That's why I change my builds time to time. But I haven't found a build that I would say is the best build for me, because I am in an awkward space with it. So I'm getting off topic, so I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm gonna get to the next topic, heroes. Now, heroes, in general, they are very playable in their own right. So that's what I'm saying, heroes as a whole, D heroes, E heroes, Mask heroes, all of them. They're all playable in their own rights, and I recommend this deck because it will always get support. Like the Dark Magician and Blue Eyes of Yu-Gi-Oh as well. It will always get support as long as the game is around. So you will always have new cards to play, and you will always get eventually some good support for the deck. The deck mainly can break down boards, but not as good as Cyber Dragons or Dinosaurs, at least in my opinion. Another thing is, since it rogue, it's very hard to hand trap. It's hard to tell what to hand trap because nobody expects what comes from you. Ash this, imperm this, or imperm this. I know you guys can play through 2 hand traps, depending on the type of hand. It can get difficult sometimes, so just be aware of that. The last 2 are the most degenerate ones. When I say they are no brain cell use decks, you can use these without even thinking. You can just slap cards on board and just basically win the game 90% of the time. But these decks, this one, the one I'm going to introduce, does require you to go first, and that is Inspect the Border Stun. So basically, your opponent monster effects basically mean nothing to Inspect the Border, because the effect is just broken. You have to read it yourself, but I'm going to summarize it basically. Your opponent cannot activate effects unless they control a type of extra deck monster, but he get 1 effect for each different one he has on board. Hopefully I summarized that correctly. So The other thing is like the other monsters you play, because obviously you ain't playing a deck with 3 monsters only. You'll play like the statue stuff that have effects that don't activate, but the like passive effects. Basically, it just happens when they're on board. So like statues and stuff, like you can't spell something besides a certain type of notch. Like you want monsters like those. That, and to protect your monster from being destroyed and to destroy your monsters or your opponent monsters, you play Moon Mirror Shield and the Phantom Knight trap cards to protect your monsters like from this battle wise. You're like on the Phantom Knight part, it protects your monster from card effect destruction. So like your opponent will struggle to get rid of your monster while you will always have 100 more attack points in them. Like it's ridiculous. Like your main weakness playing this deck would be like Harpy Feather Duster, because everybody mains that one. Why wouldn't you main it as a generic card? Back row removal, just broken. The last one will be Grand Manju. Grand Manju is a deck you wouldn't think about playing against because it's not very used in the meta at all. Like if you end up against a Grand Manju deck, you more than likely, like 98% out of the time, will not be prepared to play against it. Your opponents won't be prepared. Like I've seen like them get easy dubs, like summon one Grand Manju and type for game. It's stupid. Like your main strategy with this is to banish as many cards as possible, so your Grand Manju can gain attack. And if you don't know the effects, Grand Manju gain 400 attack points for each banished card in general, like your and your opponent's. So like if you got cards that banish on both sides, like Necroface, I think. Yes, it just go crazy, and basically your job is just one shot them, like normal summon punch game. I'm like, it just go crazy. But like there are different builds you can go with Grand Manju, and that's why I recommend it, because it's very simple and you can build it different ways. You can build these decks different ways besides like Cyber Dragon. I'm pretty sure that is like the only like 1-2 ways you can build Cyber Dragon. But I feel like these decks are very like adjustable to your taste and very simple to play.